I went to a toy show in Kankakee, Illinois, and I found a few things at that show. Some cards and a lot of comics. Let's take a look at some of these comics that I found. So those comics that I got were all in the $1 or 50-cent kind of bin, and so they weren't too expensive. I still need to put bags on a lot of those, maybe some boards. And I got a few other things. I found some random video games that I'm hoping work. A guy was selling like Pokemon Stadium for N64. I think he gave me that for maybe like $2. And it looks a little junky and dirty and maybe even rusty inside the cartridge. So I'll have to clean it up and see if it works. I also got a couple Ninja Turtle things. There. Those are some of the few actual toys that I got. And then another guy was giving out X-Men toys for, I think, like less than $2 each. The old Toy Biz X-Men ones. But I did kind of make a trade with the guy. I had some extra comic books that were doubles, and so I got some of the Overpower cards, the Marvel Overpower cards. I thought those were kind of interesting. I never played it when I was a kid, so I'm gonna have to learn, I guess, how to play it. But I had this when I was a kid, this deck, and I think a few random cards, maybe from like Very Berry Kicks gave them out, stuff like that. So I did have a handful of these kind of cards. Here's the mission card that went with that, and I think I just got that Deadpool card from that guy, the mission card. But you need like 7 of them to do a full mission, so it might not do me a lot of good. I have the rules and stuff here that I'm gonna have to learn. But I actually had to use someone else's video that they put up of what was supposed to be in this deck, because I had this thing just packed with, I think, whatever Overpower cards I happened to get at the time, including probably whatever was in this Power Surge expansion booster pack, I guess. I had probably just thrown in here. So they were all mixed up. I had no idea what the actual set was supposed to be. So I had to watch somebody else's video in slow motion to figure out what cards are supposed to be in there. And I think I got it down to the 55 it's supposed to be. And then some of the mission cards are in here separate. So I put them in protectors. But at that toy show, this guy that I was trading some comic books to, he wasn't going to give me much money because they were all 90s and 80s kind of comics that they just made a million of, so they aren't really worth anything. But I was able to trade him most of them just for some of these Overpower cards he had laying around. So I'm thinking my son and I could probably figure out how to play it and try to play a game or two. I started going through them already. I couldn't help myself. I was going to make a video of going through what I had gotten from this guy, but it turned out that every time, so I figured out that this is like the actual character card, and then each character card has these, I think they're specials, they call them, or something, basically like the moves that they can do, or the ventures, that go with them that you can draw during a game. And so as I was going through this just massive, stack of cards that were all mixed up, I realized that I should probably put them in order of the actual character card with their special kind of card. And once I started doing that, I couldn't stop myself. So I kept finding the characters, and then I would say, well, I gotta put these with that. Like here's Hydra, and those all go under Hydra, although I think you can only pick maybe 3 to go with the game. Somebody say 1 per deck, so I don't know how the rules are on that. Maybe somebody can fill me in who knows more about it. I'm gonna have to look up a lot about this. There's Hydra, so if you want to be the Nazis, basically, in the game. Got Hobgoblin. See, some of these, though, I only have 1 actual, like, move card from. And this one, I noticed, was from Hillshire Farms. So, I think that's, what, a sausage company? They were just handing these on everything back in the day. Like I said, I got 1, or maybe more, in that Very Berry Kicks, which I don't know if I was a super big fan of, but I'm sure that I did it just for these cards. And here's Beast, and here's another one already that is funky because you've got Dark Beast that says Dark Beast may play any Beast specials. And it looks like Dark Beast came out later because it's got that Intellect one. It says 1996 on the back of that one, which is what I'm sure is in 95, yeah. So I guess then for Dark Beast, this is when he was in disguise as Beast, you're just putting any of the Beast specials on there. So I don't know if I could make a deck out of some of these, if I could use those any hero cards, which I've got in here, that I guess you can use as like specials with any hero. I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure out a lot about this. And I don't know if you would ever put both of these in the same, like, deck. I have no idea what the rules on that all would be. This is the Beast card, and then we switch over to, I guess I had a ton of Nightcrawler. I think some of these I had from before. I don't know what this one's got going on it. It looks like something sad on it. I don't know what happened here. But these I know are from the later, 1996, with this weird, like, I don't know, phalanx almost like looking background. But here's the Nightcrawler character card. So I've got, once I started kind of compiling these, I couldn't stop myself. And I just had to find all the morph cards and put them under the morph character card. We got Morph from, I guess, Age of Apocalypse, you would say. And all of his cards. And then I ended up with a bunch of Quicksilver as well. So again, with like kind of X-Men or X-Men adjacent kind of things I ended up with. And I had quite a few of these. I think these I just got at that show. It's kind of a mix of things that I already had and mainly stuff that I got from this toy show. And here's Storm. I realized I had quite a few Storm cards too. This one looks like 1995, I guess. I don't know. See, I don't know what the rules are for like how many of these you would be able to put in your deck. I've only seen, I guess, like with this one, 3 of each, so you would have like your character card and 3 different things that character can do. But hopefully I can make some decent decks and we have some options. And my son and I could play. The Acolytes had their own, the whole group was considered like one character, kind of like Hydra, I suppose. And then I only got 2 of those though, Rusty and Fabian. So I don't even know if, I guess that's the big question, is if I could fill in these gaps with just those cards that say any hero instead of exactly what it is. Now this one's back when they were doing that Onslaught thing, I think. So here's Holocaust. I think came over from Age of Apocalypse. He's the son of Apocalypse, right? But I have 1 card for him, like 1 special, I guess, that he could use. Now Now some of these, as I was kind of going through them at the show, I realized, man, I have a lot of like some of these. Like here's a double. So I would doubt that you could just use like, have that be as like 2 of your characters in the game, and then like load each one up with, you know, 3 of the actions. I would doubt that, but I have no idea. So here's 2 of these, and then these are like those later ones, 1996, I guess. Not the 95 ones that they first started with, but we have a lot of these Sentinel cards. I guess they're all different. There's Nimrod. So there's all those. Still quite a bit of X-Men cards. And then the Brood, another very X-Men heavy thing, but this one I have tons of the actual character cards of. I don't know why or where these came from. They must have been really common. But, like, once again, I would assume you could only use 1 of those in a deck. Because, I mean, I guess it'd be kind of crazy to have, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 Broods. That's another thing, I'm not sure. I think you can have 3 characters and then 1 reserve. I think it was called. Like a backup. And then we've got the Brood actions that they've got. Quite a lot of them. So, I don't know, it might be good to make a Brood deck out of. I'm probably gonna have to clean some of these up, and then I have even more. These I think are, like, I would say are the kind of X-Men specific, or like more X-Men adjacent, excluding these 2. I don't know how those, or I guess these 3. Not really sure how those got on top there. But those are more like, I guess, some of the enemies. The villains. It would be interesting to see if I can make some decks out of these. Let's see what else I can fit up on here. Yeah, I ended up with quite a few of these as I was going, and I had no idea that I had so many until I really started putting them together. And here's some of the other ones that I ended up with. Like here's Captain America, but only 1 actual card for Captain America. So I might be out of luck for actually like playing with Captain America in the deck. But here's Vision, who apparently came out after 95, this must have been 96. And for Vision, I ended up with quite a few of the cards. The specials, I think they're called, that he could do. Just move. Here's Thor, and I had maybe just enough of the Thor cards, because there's 3, which I guess I noticed in that deck. There was 3 with most of the characters. Then we had Hawkeye, and quite a few Hawkeye cards. That I guess would be usable if I wanted to be Hawkeye. These have some interesting art in them. I thought this one was kind of weird. He obviously like shot this gun out of the guy's hand, and the arrow was like between the dude's fingers. And then Black Widow. So Black Widow, I had found quite a few of her action cards too. I guess that's another viable one that I could use. War Machine. I have at least 3 of these, so maybe that's something. I'm not sure if a lot of these came in decks more, or like the expansion booster pack kind of things. And then Doc Samson, who I kind of forgot all about. He's like a Hulk guy. I wonder if he's what Brock Samson from Venture Brothers' name's based on. But a ton of Doc Samson cards for some reason. So I really wanted to play a Doc Samson deck. I guess I've got it. And then we got the Thing. And 3 of those. It seems like playable. Spider-Man, but only 2 cards. Another Hillshire Farm card. So a Spider-Man sausage card. And that's from 96. That's another weird thing about these, is that sometimes on what's supposed to be the back, it says the year, but it's a different year. Like here's a 95 and here's a 96, and they also look slightly different, like the colors, you can really tell. But wouldn't that give you kind of, I don't know if there's ever a time when they would be face down and you wouldn't know what they are, or you're not supposed to know what they are, but you'd be like, ooh, that's my 1995 card. That's gonna be Spider-Man. I don't know. I have a lot to learn still, I guess, on this Overpower stuff. I'm a little bit late to the game, only like 30 years, I guess. Yeah, 30 years behind. That's not too bad, right? That was just the other day. So we got Spider-Woman and a good amount of Spider-Woman cards. I suppose I could use that. Here's the New Warriors. It's another one of these groups that is just considered, I guess, one character. But they have the New Warriors. I have 3 of them. Like 3, they would, I guess, be considered specials. So maybe I'd be able to play that one. Morbius. I think I had a lot of these Morbius cards before, and then I also got some more just in this recent deal from the toy show. But like, look at these. It's a lot of Morbius cards. If Morbius was a big deal in 96, I suppose this would be. So like, was that 6, 7 different specials under Morbius? I guess I really have a lot of options for Morbius. There's Rhino with only 1 card. So, I don't know if I can do much with him. Like I said, it's going to be really, I guess my big question is, can I use those any hero cards? There's an example where I guess any hero could use these specials. Like, can I use those to fill in gaps? Like, could I just grab 2 of these and put it with that Rhino, that 1 Rhino card I have, and would that work for a deck? I don't know. Somebody tell me in the comments. Mysterio with only 1 card. See, now we're running into like really slim pickings. Mysterio only has 1. Rhino only has 1. Morbius, so he's got a ton. And then here's Deadpool. I just got him with this new set, but I have no specials for him, so I guess possibly I can't use them at all. Or I have to use those any hero cards, maybe? There's another Jean Grey, which is already in this Overpowered deck. I just ended up with 2 of those somehow. Maybe thanks to Very, Very Kicks. Black Cat, Scarlet Spider, The Hand, Onslaught. Pretty 90s kind of a time. So all of these, I have no actual specials, I guess, for them. So I don't know what to do with those exactly, if I would be able to do anything with them. I'll have to look into that. I'm guessing nowadays Deadpool is probably expensive. And then here's those any hero cards. So I don't know if we could just plug those in where we need them. Some of them say 1 per deck. Now, do they mean 1 per deck of God of Mischief? Or do they mean 1 per deck of the any hero card at all? I don't know. These all say 1 per deck as well. But this one's Doc Samson, which we already have a Doc Samson pile. So I don't know. I don't know how those work exactly. And then on the flip side of the coin, I guess, we have the actions, which I think these might be extras of actions from in there. Like there's a Psylocke action, there's a Venom action, another Hillshire Farms card. I don't know how many Hillshire Farms cards are made, if these are like specifically promo ones. And what does that have to do with sausage? Isn't Hillshire Farms sausage? I think so. I don't know. Like, were these in a frozen pack of sausages at some point? Oh yeah, they smell like it. No, I'm just kidding. But here's another Venom, which I know my son would love to play a Venom deck. Like Venom and Carnage and all those, but I don't have the actual character card for it, so I guess these would not be playable unless I get one of those. Couple Punishers, one Hulk, one Human Torch, one Mr. Fantastic, one Silver Surfer, and one Adam Warlock. Which, I don't know, was he in the New Warriors? Maybe could have mixed him in the New Warriors, I don't know. But yeah, all of those, I guess I would have to get the hero card first. So there's a lot of those. Maybe I should put these kind of together somewhat. I should probably put Hydra and Doc Ock and Hobgoblin with these other villains, I suppose. And my Hobgoblin Little Shire Farms card. I don't know if these are very collectible or valuable necessarily. It's not like the best art, probably, that Marvel's ever really done. But they're kind of cool. I think it'd be kind of cool to play it. Maybe it's a fun game. Not sure. So here's some of my villains, and I guess I'll just put my my characters on top of this. The ones that I may be able to do something with. I may be able to make a deck with. If anybody's got any tips or like knows the rules, maybe they can let me know. I guess I really should just go through a tutorial or read through my actual rule books that I've got. But I gotta keep the X-Men on the top. Do that. Here's our anti-hero stuff. Plop them all away because there's still more. So these, from what I can gather, are these Marvel Universe cards. There's been a lot of things called Marvel Universe over the years. There's J. Jonah Jameson just yelling. That apparently gives you an intellect attack. You can yell at someone that will damage them. Okay. So these are the newer ones. These are 1997. You can tell they look different, and then they have that copyright on the back. So I don't know if you'd be able to really mix these into a deck. And then you've got the intelligence thing, which I think came later. So I'm not sure how that would work for actual play. And then you've got like the training cards that you can add some power to your characters. These are the things that you would kind of add into the deck. Kind of like, I guess, Pokemon trainer cards of different sorts. Here's Venom eating the hot dogs out of a hot dog cart. That should be a Hillshire Farm card. It's all about wieners. I don't know if that's what they think. Maybe another Rhino kind of a thing. But on all of these cards, I guess it's, the art is just kind of consequential, maybe. It's not really, like, it doesn't matter that that's the thing, for example. These are just like basically adding to your strength, just the power of your character. Here's a generator that you can use to power up, or divine intervention to give you a little extra energy. There's a rocket launcher. Weird looking rocket launcher. And then we've got teamwork. So teamwork, you can add things to teammates, it looks like. +1 to the first teammate, +2 to the second teammate. I don't know. An interesting whole lot of teamwork cards from the different years. There's an X-Men one. Wolverine with his bone claws. You can tell exactly when these cards came out. And then here's your kind of Onslaught era. Magneto, Juggernaut, Sabretooth. Energy boosters. I always like this one. Weird backpack that plugs into his Cyclops' helmet. There's some of those in this pack too. And I ended up with an extra one. And then we had these like Marvel Manhattan. These are almost like your, I don't know, location cards. What would that be called? Like a stadium card, I guess, in Pokemon. So there's a discard phase. I don't know. I'm gonna have to learn all the rules. And then these, most of the, I had a couple of these, like literally 2 from before somehow. And then most of these I ended up with from the card show. They were mixed into this big stack of cards. So we've got, I guess maybe these replaced the mission cards. I'm not sure. Remove all hits with a fighting icon from the permanent record of all heroes. I don't know what this is all about. An angel. Bomb strapped to him or something. I don't know what this is. Oh yeah, I guess that is. Turn himself into a missile. Look at this. Like the Fatal Attractions Wolverine, which I think we had Fatal Attractions wasn't that mission thing. So I don't know. These are like kind of interesting. I don't know how these work with the deck. These are all later, like 96, so they didn't come up that initial 95 kind of set. Like, I think that one's 95, like the really early ones. Hey, there's another Rude Awakening, which was like one of these first ones, right? Right there, I knew it. So yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure all this out. Some bangouts and everything. All the other two. But tons and tons of these Daily Bugle cards. There's Cloak and Dagger, and like shows a lot of the different Marvel kind of events, I guess you would say. There's the Brood Infestation fighting Ghost Rider. I don't know, lots of different ones. So tons of those. And then we have some of these energy cards. I think now we're into, I guess, I don't know if you would really call them energy cards. Kind of the attack power cards, I suppose. I'm not even totally sure. It's really interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to learn how to play this. There's Mimic, so he's got like one of every type, I guess. That makes sense. Scroll, same thing. That Rom. Yep. Rom Space Knight. That's from 97, so it's one of the later ones. I guess a lot of these are later ones. Nightcrawler, he's got 3 for everything. Iron Man and Sentry. Sentry's just 1 for everything. They're already getting rid of him. That's 95. And then we've got the Intellect cards, so those are the 97, because that came later. Yeah, and then we just have like the Strengths. That's embarrassing to be the 1 card. And then we've got the actual, I guess, energy. It would be Nebula, the 1. Look at that. Domino's got higher fighting skills than Wolverine and Black Panther. Black Panther, Wolverine, I guess, are tied. I don't know. It's interesting to see how they kind of figured out their fighting skills. Like 5 for Iron Fist. Black Widow's only got 2. And then, like, Wasp is 1. Even looks miserable in this card. So yeah, that's the Overpower cards that I got. Pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to figure out more about it. Like, nice in the meantime, I suppose. And I guess I'll try to make some decks, and my son and I can do an Overpower battle, just like it's the mid-90s.